In addition to balance, Chapter 4 is also about morals and goals. It's not promoting any morals or goals in particular, it's analyzing morals and goals in general. It's not suggesting what ought to be, as much as it's exploring various ways of finding options when choosing what ought to be. The first figure in the morals, motives, and goals section of the chapter is a model for analyzing individual morals. Individual morals are summed up in what we call a personality, but no personality is completely driven by morals or goals. Figure 45 describes the broad aspects of a personality, starting with the most objective aspect and working up to the most subjective aspect. The objectivity arrow is not pointing towards objectivity. It's pointing out that objectivity starts at the bottom and moves upward. Subjectivity starts at the top and moves downward. The arrows represent the gradual transition between the layers of the pyramid. You could say that the first layer isn't a personality aspect at all. I could use the word experience to make it more personalized. Situation just sounds more objective to me. The first 4 layers have to do with what's happening physically. The 4th layer is the most recognizable as a personality aspect and the most observable from outside the person. The last 3 layers have to do with mental dynamics and are invisible without behavior. They may someday be visible through neuropsychology and neuroscience imaging such as fMRI. The 5th layer is the weakest example of morals and goals, but the strongest example of measuring how motives, reasons, is complicated. The word reason is complicated enough because not every reason is reasonable. This layer is where the most unique parts of a personality are developed, maintained, and changed in a complicated struggle between emotions and intellect. I know it's a bit oversimplified to describe emotions as reason under the influence of hormones. I just didn't want to crowd the diagram with less familiar distinguishing factors. I know there's controversy in distinguishing emotions from intellect. In this chart, hormones is in the broadest, least sexualized context, like the ghrelin hunger hormone. I also understand that every human response involves a degree of emotional motivation. In reality, intellectual response is a subset of emotional response in much the same way science is a subset of art. Figure 45 describes subjects at any level of maturity. Figure 47 is a more specific transition between aspects based on varying levels of maturity. It's an upside-down pyramid showing proportional influence in a more mature subject. The CATI acronym, MEOW, is the direction and order a more mature subject is expected to prioritize what motivates their decisions. The arrow pointing upward shows the general direction of maturity. A less mature, kitten, subject would be more influenced at the bottom with the growing upright pyramid. The arrow only represents adding capacity for maturity over time. The upright pyramid isn't shown in the book. To show it, I'm adding a priority arrow to help understand the proportions. This is what a newborn baby would look like. A toddler would look something like this, with barely any obedience and no sense of ethics. A preschooler might start to understand ethics. A lower elementary school student would be mature enough to understand and live by morals. But it's still an upright pyramid at this point, with heavy priorities on whimsical motives. As morals and self-discipline get stronger, a preteen might look like this, a teenager might look like this, a younger adult might look like this, and a more mature adult like this. But even a mature adult will fluctuate priorities throughout their life. A midlife crisis might even make the pyramid upright again temporarily. That's figure 45 and 47, the personality and maturity aspects of morals, motives, and goals. It's a starting place for analyzing how we determine what ought to be when applying science. The skip figure 46 will be included in the next video along with figure 48 because they are about motives aside from personality or maturity. I hope you are looking forward to it. Please leave critical and constructive feedback in the comments. Thanks for watching.